Hello, my name is Larry Deal, and I'm the Executive Director for Independence Northwest. We are one of Oregon's 14 support services brokerages serving adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And today I'm going to do a brief presentation all about community-led brokerage services. Independence Northwest, my organization, is a 501c3 nonprofit, and we have been in operation since about 2007 as a support services brokerage. Right now, we serve about 530 people with disabilities in the Portland Tri-County area. So that is Multnomah, Clackamas, and Washington counties. Today's presentation is not region specific. So anything that I share with you today, whether you're living in Medford, you're in Eastern Oregon, you're in Lane County, anywhere throughout the state where there's a brokerage, the information I'm sharing with you is statewide information. So it's not INW or Portland Metro specific. So we'll start the presentation with some information around eligibility, and then I'll talk some about what brokerages are, where we come from, how we operate, who we serve. I'll talk to you some about the way that we do planning when we work with people and their families and their support circles. And then I'll also explain how we connect people with goods, resources, and providers in the community. At the end of the presentation, there'll be some additional contact information and resource links. So if you have more questions that aren't covered in today's presentation, you'll know who you can contact, or there are other places that you can look online to further research brokerages and how we operate. Everything starts with eligibility. And I want to share with you, just in case you're new to brokerage services, who we serve and who we don't, because I think that that's important. I don't want you to have to watch an entire presentation and find out at the end that maybe you or your loved one are not eligible. So we only serve people who are 18 and older at this time, and we serve people who are Oregon residents. Folks have to have an intellectual or a developmental disability diagnosis. And I'll talk to you about how a person goes about getting eligibility and a diagnosis. And then we only serve individuals who live in their own or their family home. So for people who are just starting out, if you currently don't receive any sort of services and you're just wanting to get started with any kind of service, the first place you go is to your local CDDP. That is a Community Developmental Disabilities Program. Some CDDPs are run by nonprofits in parts of the state, and some are run by county government. Up here in the Portland Metro region, the CDDPs that we work with in Multnomah, Clackamas, and Washington County, they're all county-run, government-run organizations. If you're interested in finding out which CDDP is in your area, you can check out a full list at mybrokeragemychoice.org. If you just click on the eligibility link, you should be able to find a full list, and then that'll take you to their websites. There are phone numbers there. All you have to do then is give them a call and say, hey, I'm interested in becoming eligible for services, and then they'll walk you through that process. There are two types of eligibility that you would be looking at under the developmental disability umbrella, as it were. And that would be either an intellectual disability or a developmental disability. So intellectual disability is something that's determined by the age of 18, and it is an IQ-based disability diagnosis. A developmental disability is not necessarily an IQ-based diagnosis. It's determined by the age of 22. Common diagnoses are Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, autism, epilepsy, fetal alcohol syndromes. There's a lot of diagnoses that fall under that general developmental disability diagnosis umbrella. So what is a brokerage? Well, we are Oregon nonprofit organizations, and we're community-led, which what that means is we have boards of directors that are primarily comprised of people with disabilities and or their family members. So we are governed by the individuals that we serve. We all hold contracts with the state of Oregon Department of Human Services. And so we're all contracted to provide the same types of supports around case management and then facilitating connections with resources in the community. Brokerages came about as a result of grassroots advocacy by self-advocates and families and community members. So if you go back to the late 1990s, actually in any time before, into the 80s, really there were no community-based services available to people with disabilities. You had large group homes, you had foster care, there was institutional care, but there was no care actually available to people in their homes. And so what happened was a group of families of people with disabilities and some advocates got together, and they decided to sue the state of Oregon and say, hey, you know, we would like to see the dollars that you're putting into congregate or institutional care diverted back into the community. Or a series of lawsuits that had already occurred in the state, not just in the state, I'm sorry, in the country, that sort of paved the way for this to be a possibility in Oregon. Staley versus Kitzhaber was the name of the lawsuit here locally. It became a class action lawsuit encompassing all people with disabilities who were living in their own or family home. And so the state decided to settle. That became known as the Staley Settlement or the Staley Agreement. What the agreement was that they would provide services to the people who had been waiting all of those years and create community-based programs that would serve them. And so that's where brokerages came from. Brokerages were born out of a community need. When we first opened, we were doing a lot of work developing provider capacity and community capacity, and as well as supporting people with developing plans. We're now 20 years on. Brokerages have been around since 2001. And there are 14 brokerages in the state of Oregon now. We serve all 36 counties. We serve nearly 8,000 people. And anywhere you move, there's a brokerage. We all look a little bit different. Some serve just one county. For example, SDRI is a brokerage that only serves Washington County. Others serve many counties. For example, Eastern Oregon Support Services Brokerage, that's a brokerage that serves 13 or 14 counties out on the eastern side of the state. We have some brokerages that just serve a small number, like here in the metro area, my agency, we're serving Multnomah, Clackamas, and Washington. And then others that serve just a single county. If you look at Full Access down in Lane County, that's sort of what they do there. So got a wide range of sizes, a wide range of organizations that serve people. But anywhere you move in the state, if you're eligible for brokerage services, you can receive services from one of us. Your experience as a brokerage customer starts with our version of a case manager, the personal agent. When you first enroll with a brokerage, you'll be assigned a PA, personal agent, and PAs typically work with 39 or fewer customers. And depending on where you receive your services from, your PA may work with customers and families in multiple counties. The PA has 4 primary roles to support you: navigator, advocate, connector, and case manager. So the first role is the navigator. The Oregon service delivery system is pretty confusing sometimes, and we're here to help you with that by acting as your primary link to accessing and understanding the resources and supports that you're eligible for. We're also connectors. So if you're looking to get connected with a particular kind of resource, we can help with that. We can help you find providers, be they potential personal support workers, which those would be people that you would employ yourself, or with provider agencies. And those are organizations that are certified through the state of Oregon Department of Human Services. We can help you with conducting interviews for potential workers or by touring, either virtually or in person, local provider agency programs. We're also advocates, and that means that we're somebody that you can rely on when you need help with others. That could be just needing a little extra help with voc rehab, or having us there at your IEP table if you're receiving services from a high school transition program. We help some of our customers as an advocate in the justice system, others with communicating with their landlords, sometimes with food stamp workers or with their employers. It's all individualized. It really depends on where you need our support. And then finally, we are technically your Medicaid funded case manager. And that means that we're responsible to make sure that any of the funding that we use to provide supports to you is spent properly and according to the rules. So we work closely with you and your providers to make sure that your services are working. And then we also help you rethinking or resetting things when you need to. So what do brokerages directly provide in terms of service? Well, case management, which we've spoken a bit about today, is one of the primary roles that we play. We also offer resource and referral services, and that can be, connecting you with social events. It could be helping you find a food box, helping you sign up for housing, helping you find emergency funds. I mean, your personal agent is going to know what's available to you in your community. We offer formal person-centered planning to our customers, and we have trained PCP, person-centered plan facilitators on staff, or we contract with person-centered facilitators to assist in deeper facilitated exploration planning and support circle building for our customers. As mentioned before, we help with advocacy, connecting with providers, engaging with community partners. We also help you with accessing goods and services from businesses and organizations. So some examples. Assistive devices, those are appliances, medical equipment, or technology to help you with your daily routines and your day-to-day life. It could include specially designed clothes to help you get dressed on your own, or appliance adaptations to support more independence in the kitchen. We can help out with assistive technology. That could be purchasing things like communication devices, personal emergency response equipment, personal tablets, laptops, or apps that help you with communication. Chore services are available to people for disability-related support needs in their homes, and that's for folks who might need additional help with cleaning a home because they have a physical limitation, or in some cases, taking care of a living situation that has health and safety related support needs. Environmental safety modifications, that might be helping you install a ramp on your home, grab bars in your bathroom, or something as large as a full bathroom remodel to create a roll-in shower if you use a wheelchair. Vehicle modifications are similar. That could be putting a lift on a van to make it accessible, or getting the vehicle outfitted to ensure your health and safety. Specialized supplies are medical supplies. That's like incontinence items or devices that might not be available through the Oregon Health Plan or your other health insurance provider. And finally, non-medical transportation can be used to offer mileage, reimbursement for caregivers, or to pay for bus passes or taxi rides that are non-medical in nature. Brokerage PAs help you find and connect with qualified developmental disabilities providers. There's two basic types of providers: personal support workers and provider agencies. And we're not going to go into great detail about provider types in today's presentation, but simply put, personal support workers are people that you employ. That could be a member of your family or a member of your support circle, someone you know from church or from school, or they may be a professional PSW, personal support worker, that we connect you with via the Home Care Commission or the Carina Registry. Provider agencies are organizations certified by the State of Oregon Department of Human Services to provide services to people with IDD. You can check out a full list of provider agencies that Independence Northwest works with by visiting our website and clicking the provider organizations link. The kinds of supports that providers can offer you vary widely. You can get one-to-one support in your home and in the community, or you can get support in small groups. Some programs are fully community-based and others are facility-based. The two most popular supports that our customers look for are community living and community inclusion supports. In these cases, providers help customers with daily living supports like getting dressed, eating, using the restroom, but they also help with things like going shopping or managing your budget or keeping your house healthy and safe. You can receive more specific skills training to help you increase your independence. It could be like learning to cook or figuring out bus routes or growing other skills. And then sometimes providers can support you with making community connections in small groups. Other times you do it one-to-one. Respite care, which is sometimes called relief care, is a service available to help a person with a disability while their primary caregiver or the caregivers take some time on their own to refresh and recharge. Sometimes that's just services for an afternoon, and other times it can be in 24-hour periods. Our customers have access to behavior supports from qualified behavior specialists. They develop behavior support plans, which basically are communication tools that can be used to train anyone that you're receiving supports from. It helps create consistency, and it helps make sure that your communications are understood, heard, and supported. And last but definitely not least, brokerage customers have access to supported employment. Oregon has an exceptional benefit when it comes to offering people with disabilities help with getting jobs and keeping them. So we work closely with VR, vocational rehabilitation, to support customers with finding and maintaining jobs in the community. And then we help ensure that they have on-the-job supports to keep the jobs long-term. Our services are based on the belief that people should have control over their supports in order to build the life that they want for themselves. So we believe that our services can and should go beyond meeting just basic disability related needs. Some of our customers need help with life basics, like getting connected with food or shelter, with being provided with foundational supports to build their lives. And others need assistance with connection, whether that's help developing new personal relationships or getting connected with groups or organizations in their communities of choice. While the supports are funded specifically to address a person's disability-related needs, the aims are universal human aims. So belonging, personal growth, engagement, connection. That's ultimately what we're doing with these services. So the last part of the presentation is just a walk through the planning process. So the place we start is your goals. So what skills do you want to learn? What are your short-term goals? What are your long-term goals? And how are we going to work together to achieve those goals? An example of a goal might be, I want to live independently. I want to move out into my own apartment. For some of our customers, that's a short-term goal that we can help them meet in the first 6 months of working together because they're prepared and they're ready to go. Other people, that might be a longer term goal. We might be having a conversation about moving out independently in maybe 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. And so what we'll do is work backwards and figure out what are the short-term goals that we need to meet in order to get to that long-term goal. So crafting your goals, some people will come in, they're already going to know what they want. Other people, we're going to work together to figure out what it is that you'd like and how you can use your services to get there. The second step is the Oregon Needs Assessment. Now, since 2018, anyone receiving Medicaid-funded disability services in Oregon has to go through the ONA, or the Oregon Needs Assessment process. It's a tool that was created by the state of Oregon Department of Human Services, and the assessment goes step by step through a disability-related support review. It's performed by someone that's actually been trained by the state, but is a brokerage employee. So all of us have assessors on staff here. Those are the folks that will be coming out to meet with you to do the assessment. Assessments right now can be done virtually, but they can also be done in person. So this is really up to you and what your comfort level is. Your personal agent may be part of the assessment process, but they might not be. Everybody's situation is individualized. Once you completed your Oregon Needs Assessment, you'll get a sense of how many hours and what kind of resources are going to be available to you in the planning process for being able to connect with providers and to be able to purchase goods. So the third step is writing your plan. This is something that may be familiar to you. It's really, it's an ISP. It's an individualized support plan. And basically, we're going to take your goals. We're going to look at the resources that are now available to you based on your assessment and also based on your personal agent's knowledge of what's available in the community. And we're going to work together to put together a plan. This happens within the first 90 days of being found eligible for services. So it's something that we'll do pretty quickly with you. We know that plans change, and sometimes you'll want to change something very quickly. Other times, you might be fine with the plan the entire year. We just want you to know you can always revise your plan. Average brokerage customer here at Independence Northwest, they revise their plans a couple of times a year. And then the fourth part of the planning process is finding the right supports. So depending on what your goals look like, you might have some need for some paid supports. Well, we will support you in getting connected with those providers, whether they're personal support workers or their provider organizations. We'll take you on tours of facilities or programs if you like. We can do that virtually or in person, depending on the situation. Or we may connect you with personal support workers who are professionals that we work with through the Oregon Home Care Commission or through the Carina Registry. You may know people in your life already that would make great personal support workers. So we'll talk about what qualifications look like for them and how we might get them connected as a paid support, if that makes sense to you at this time. And then the final step in the planning process really is to know that you can always revise. So when things change, we change the plan. You just need to call your personal agent and let them know, hey, I've got a different set of goals. Something shifted, something changed. A primary support in my life has now moved on or is no longer available or is temporarily unavailable. You just give us a call. We go in, we make adjustments to the plan, and then we get started down the next path. And the last slide here that we would like to share with you are a couple of additional resources in case you have more questions or you want to dig a little bit deeper into brokerage services. The first is the mybrokerage.mychoice.org website. On that website, you can find links to every brokerage in the state, as well as every CDDP in the state where you would find eligibility. We have information up there about all of the services that are provided by brokerages. There are definitions for each service type that you can check out in plain language. And there are a few videos on there if you'd like to dig a little bit deeper. Additionally, we have on our website, the independencenw.org website, we keep that up to date with information about brokerage services and opportunities there. So check it out when you have a chance. If you have additional questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Again, my name is Larry Deal, and you can reach me at larry@independencenw.org. Even if it's not a regional question that you have and you just need me to direct you to the right person here in the brokerage system, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Thank you so much for spending some time with us to learn more about brokerage services. We look forward to connecting with you soon.